All right. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Team Kentucky Update. We got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm going to have a hard stop if we go that long at an hour. We lost Jessamine County Sheriff Corman earlier in the week. His visitation is today. I'm going to make sure that I go to pay my respects. And that's what we did this morning. This morning, I was honored to take part in this year's Kentucky Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony in Richmond. It recognizes the men and women who serve in law enforcement every day and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. It takes a special level of commitment to do this work that has tremendous meaning and purpose, but also comes with significant risks. It takes a special kind of person to sign up and train for a career where you know you'll be running towards a dangerous situation, a career where you have to make decisions of life and death in split seconds with limited information, in a career where you always put other people's safety above your own. That's exactly what the fallen officers we recognized this morning did in their final moments, truly living out their faith and values of the Golden Rule, treating our neighbor as ourselves, and the parable of the Good Samaritan, that everyone is our neighbor. These are amazing officers who sacrificed everything, and their families grieve for them, just like they served with them. I remember hearing about the loss of each of these officers, each time heartbreaking, and reminding us that these are people's kids and parents and brothers and sisters. Oftentimes, they're pillars of their community, known to so many. You know, when we lose anyone, but especially when we lose one of our peace officers, it tears at the fabric of our society, and it hurts. But my faith teaches me that while the body is mortal, the soul is eternal, and certainly each of these individuals has earned their spot in heaven. Today, we added 7 names to the memorial from this last year. It's Louisville Metro Police Officer Hassan, Breckinridge County Sheriff's Deputy Wagner Baskett Jr., Georgetown Police Lieutenant Gary W. Crump II, Jefferson County Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Shirley. I remember going to his visitation and saw his parents again today. Floyd County Sheriff's Deputy Oliver Little, his Sheriff John Hunt, friend of mine, saw him today. Grace County Deputy Jailer Robert T. Daniel. He died trying to get people out of that candle factory in Mayfield, told his relatives. And I'd been on that scene about 5 hours after that, and what courage it must have taken based on the wreckage as we saw it. Louisville Metro Police Officer Zachary Cottingham. And of course, last week, we lost someone whose name will be added next year. That's Callaway County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy and former Kentucky State Police Sergeant Jody Cash. We also want to extend condolences to the family of Sheriff Kevin Corman. Remember that our scripture tells us the greatest love you can have for your friends is to give your life for them. They lived that faith out to its fullest extent. To the families, we wish there was something we could do to bring these amazing individuals back. But today, we ensured that they are remembered. Their example of selflessness, how to truly live your life serving others, is something special and something we all ought to commit to learning from. Special families that were there today. I want to thank everybody that was involved. All right, switching gears. We are here once again to talk about jobs and new jobs coming to the Commonwealth. And today we again have several great economic development announcements as we continue to build on our momentum established in 2021. Remember, 2021 was our best economic development year in the history of the Commonwealth, and it wasn't close. $11.2 billion of private sector investment, by far a record. 18,000 new jobs, a record, at the second highest wage we've ever announced. So far in 2022, we've announced more than 70 private sector new location and expansion projects totaling $3.5 billion, and we're really just getting started with this year's economic development. It's already created 6,500 new jobs for Kentuckians. That pushes our administration to date totals to more than 640 announcements, 33,000 new jobs, and $17.2 billion in investment. First, before we announce a couple of the new projects, I want to highlight a project we announced last month from a company that's called Kentucky Home for more than 30 years. It was in April. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman, local officials, and representatives from Lexmark broke ground on a solar panel array at the company's headquarters. This project was the result of a coordinated effort between the company, local and state leaders, including the Energy and Environment Cabinet. Lexmark is investing $4 million to establish a 10-acre, 2-megawatt solar panel array, which will generate over 225,000 kilowatt hours per month. The power generation will offset approximately 10% of that site's energy usage once completed by the end of the year. And the investment is also rejuvenating a brownfield area to be used as an educational green space. The operation will also produce power generation analytics to be displayed at Lexmark's Customer Engagement Center as the company supports STEM efforts for local schools. The project emphasizes Lexmark's commitment to the future. And now I'd like to invite Alan, Lexmark's president and CEO, somebody that I've had the opportunity to work with very closely, whether we were working through COVID or working to create new jobs. You run an incredible Kentucky company, and we're so proud to have you in the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Governor, and Lexmark team is so proud to be here today. First, I want to emphasize we wouldn't be here without the support of the governor and his staff and the Energy and Environment Cabinet. It's with you that we've made this happen. You know, since our inception in 1991, Lexmark's been doing business in an environmentally responsible way. We're recognized as an industry leader for creating products and solutions that help our customers meet their environmental goals. On top of that, we focus our own operations on sustainable practices, operations in the communities in which we live and work, Kentucky being our hometown. Last year, we announced that we plan to be carbon neutral by 2035. That is a huge opportunity for Lexmark, but other companies around the world to set aggressive goals like that. This renewable energy project that the governor just spoke about is a first broad step for us to reach those global goals while helping protect the environment right here in Kentucky. This 2-megawatt array will offset our usage, as the governor said, in Lexington. Said differently, though, it can power more than 400 homes and eliminate the carbon from 6 million miles by a passenger car. A priority of this project was the STEM education component. We wanted to have community involvement. Lexmark wants the community involved in our business. So an exciting part is the STEM education part. In the next phase, we envision Kentucky students from around the Commonwealth coming to Lexington to learn about sustainable energy, but more importantly, learn about other challenges that we face. And then we'll work together to find those solutions. So Governor, thank you for showcasing this renewable energy project. Construction's underway, and we hope to have you next year come to the ribbon cutting where we flip the big switch. Governor, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, now on to today's first new announcement. First up is Omnis Building Technologies, LLC, which is opening a manufacturing operation in Greenup County. OBT Ashland will complement the company's recently announced OBT Bluefield operation in West Virginia. The Kentucky location will manufacture residential doors and cabinetry for the company's composite insulated building units. And this is an amazing investment in Kentucky's workforce. They are making a $45.5 million investment in creating 55 absolutely dynamite jobs in northeastern Kentucky. It is a significant commitment for this operation, but one with a big vision towards the future. OBT uses renewable resources in its manufacturing process, and its fire-resistant products are designed to provide high strength and durability. OBT's leaders have expressed a goal to support growth in the regions impacted by the decline of coal by providing economic diversification, job creation, capital investment, workforce development, and re-employment opportunities. Pretty special. That's a company with a purpose, not just selling a product. The big reason they selected Northeast Kentucky for this project is the location's ability to serve more than 40% of the U.S.'s population. They also pointed to the strong existing infrastructure in the area, such as river and rail access. Now, as we welcome OBT to Kentucky, we're going to hear from their executives in a minute. I'd like to share a quick message from a friend, Greenup County Judge Executive Bobby Carpenter and Tim Gibbs, President and CEO of the Ashland Alliance.
Hello, I'm Bobby Carpenter, Greenup County Judge Executive.
And I'm Tim Gibbs. I'm the President and CEO of the Ashland Alliance.
And we're just happy to announce that Omnis Building is going to locate in Wortland, Kentucky, Greenup County, with 55 jobs that are sorely needed.
It's great. The technology they're bringing, what they're going to be offering for this community and the world, and it's going to be based out of Greenup County, Kentucky. So once again, we're just happy that we get to share what this community means and what it can do for a company. We've got a long-standing relationship with Shannon Wright of Wright Concrete, and this builds upon that.
And the Wright brothers, we want to thank both of them, Kendall and Shannon, but also we want to thank Omnis for looking at us and locating here. But most of all, I want to thank the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, and Rocky Aggins for always trying to help us here in Eastern Kentucky. Tim, I know you've got some more people that you want to probably push this, thank these people for, but I just feel like, this is something that we really need, and I'm just thankful for it.
Well, I think we've got the place and the people to help make people be successful for a long time. So we're happy to share the day with Omnis Building Products Ashland.
And I think Omnis, this thing is going to really expand. I think 55 jobs, I think in another year or two, there'll be probably another 100 to that.
Well, it's a 100,000 square feet facility. It's in the Riverport. They have access to the world. They've got a workforce. They certainly have a great government to support them as well.
They do, and but we just wanted to let the governor know how much we appreciate him.
Welcome, and it's happy to welcome them to Greenup County for a peachy keen day. How about that?
Thank you to Tim and Bobby for color coordinating and bringing us this message. Shannon, of course, is here today. Thank you for everything you did on this project. But now I'm happy to welcome Jonathan Hodson, President of OBT, and Shannon Wright, President and CEO of Rightway Building Solutions, which is partnering with OBT on this exciting project. I'd like to invite Jonathan and Shannon to come up and speak on this great investment.
You go first.
Sure. Well, thank you, Governor. We appreciate the invitation to come to Kentucky. It's a wonderful state. We're happy to be here. We're happy to partner with the Wright brothers in this adventure that's going to change the building industry, in our opinion. We're going to be introducing new sustainable technologies for the building of home construction, including cabinets, doors, new ways to do sustainable practices and reduce our environmental impact, and at the same time produce the highest quality product at the lowest cost for those consumers who are going to come in and buy our technology. And we're grateful for the Wright brothers who introduced us to this area and have allowed us to meet the EDA folks and all of the help that they have been. It's been a wonderful transition, expanding our opportunity into this region, and we look forward to it.
Me and my brother are both very, very happy to be able to provide the property that this is going to be built on. Our team has known the OBT team for a lot of years, and it's very exciting, the technology that these guys are developing. And when they start releasing it, it's going to be game-changing type technology. So we're happy that they're coming to our area. We've talked about the work ethic of Eastern Kentucky, and they're about to see, what that is, and it's a wonderful thing. So we thank you all. We thank the governor and Rocky and the team here. It is really cool to see what everyone's been able to do. It's neat. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, the Wright brothers has a pretty good ring to it. in all seriousness, not just with this project, but Shannon and his brother have helped with a lot of other economic development opportunities in their area. We're grateful for their help. Up next, SITEX Corporation, which currently employs 106 people at their facility in Henderson. SITEX is a family-owned uniform linen and textile rental business that operates in Louisville, Paducah, Nashville, and Jasper, Indiana. The company was founded in 1961, and it offers items such as uniforms and kitchen apparel, as well as hygiene and first aid products. Now, the business is taking another step forward. Today, we announced SITEX is committing $4.5 million to expand in Henderson, creating 30 additional full-time jobs in the process. The 2,500 square foot expansion comes in response to continued growth for that company, and will include the purchase of new equipment and automation of some of the company's processes. The project is expected to be completed by 2026. We want to thank the leaders at SITEX for continuing to believe in Kentucky, continuing to believe in Henderson. Now, I'm excited to talk about Rapid Industries and its expansion in Jefferson County. Rapid Industries is a family-owned company that provides conveyor systems to support a range of industries, including parcel, automotive, and appliance companies. Since it was founded in 1967, the company has grown into an international business, serving customers across the U.S., as well as exporting Kentucky-made products throughout the world, with up to 25% of their exports serving Asia and Mexico. And now they're expanding their operations in Louisville with a $6.8 million investment that's going to create 25 additional jobs for Kentucky residents. The project will include a 50,000 square foot manufacturing facility adjacent to its existing headquarters in Louisville, where Rapid Industries continues to employ 125 people full time. The commitment by Rapid Industries further strengthens our manufacturing industry, which in 2021 saw companies announce 13,900 new jobs with $10.5 billion of new investment. Quality companies like Rapid Industries that provide great jobs for our communities help keep moving us forward. We want to thank the leaders at Rapid Industries for their belief in us. I also want to recognize a startup company coming to South Central Kentucky. This is Green River Metals, LLC. The meat processing company is located in, it's Green River Meats, LLC. Meat processing company is located in Taylor County, creating 25 full-time jobs with a $2.3 million investment. The operation will serve the local livestock industry and offer custom processing of cattle and hogs under USDA inspection. It'll also feature a retail storefront for the sale of beef and pork cuts, with a target of packaging 25,000 pounds of product per week. The company is expected to open near Campbellsville in 2023. Kentucky's food and beverage and agri-tech industry continue to thrive, with new projects being announced every single month. I want to thank Green River Meats for their vision of providing a quality service and good jobs to the Commonwealth, and we wish them well. Finally, I want to recap the jobs announcement we got to make yesterday in person. So yesterday I was in Murray to announce that Holibus Technologies Incorporated, a new subsidiary of Superior Trace Systems, which is a Canada-based engineering design technology company, was coming to this building in Murray. This building was formerly Briggs & Stratton, one of the largest employers in the community. And when it announced it was moving in 2019, it was hard. It was 400 plus jobs. And being there yesterday, announcing 150 new jobs from this technology company that includes an R&D component that is working with the engineering school at Murray State, incredibly special. We had folks that worked 20 years at Briggs & Stratton show up because they were so excited that new life was being breathed into this building. And this is a dynamic company. This is the CEO, the founder, the genius behind it. It is exciting and growing. STS has provided electrical power systems for numerous major industrial projects, that include the City of Boston's water treatment facility, the rapid transit line for the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, and the high rises in New York City, just to name a few. And their products serve as an alternative to electrical cabling. And so they're designed to survive extreme weather events. And so for a project like this to come to an area that was hit so hard by one of those events, just further gave it additional meaning. Again, they have already established a good partnership with both Murray State University and Fort Campbell. And with green manufacturing being their goal, the company has achieved a near zero waste footprint. So thank you once again to this great company. It was an amazing feeling yesterday to see a company coming to this facility. It meant so much to every sector of the Murray community. All right. Now another exciting announcement, primarily for our rising seniors coming up here next year. Today is the last day in the classroom for many Kentucky schools, and it seemed a fitting time to announce some really great news for our students and our families. I'm excited to share that the rising high school seniors in Kentucky who've previously taken the ACT will have the chance to retake the test for free in the next school year. The Kentucky Department of Education is designating a statewide ACT retake day in the fall of 2022. The date hasn't been selected yet, but it'll be announced in the coming months, and KDE is going to coordinate directly with local school districts. High school seniors who have, rising seniors who've already taken the ACT will also, the current seniors who've already taken the ACT, if they need to, can retake it that day as well. So research has shown that if you are able to take the ACT twice, your score goes up. And it can go up oftentimes, I believe the average is 4 points. 4 points can be the difference between admissions and places that you want to go. It can also be the difference in scholarship money. But for so many Kentucky students, that cost is significant to parents and to families. And now everybody is going to have the opportunity to take this thing at least twice to do their very best to set themselves up for the best future. Now, currently, the ACT in Kentucky costs about $37 for an online test, $38 for the paper-based testing. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when we made the GED free, and that was, I think, a little under $200, the amount of people who stepped up and enrolled in classes skyrocketed. This is an education-first administration, and when this was proposed to us, it was a no-brainer. Give these young adults the opportunity to have an even brighter future. So with that, we are pretty happy to have one of those great young adults with us today. Ella Luking is a junior going into her senior year at Frankfort High School, right here in Franklin County. Ella, would you join us to say a few words? And then give the COVID update.
Okay, thank you. So as a high school junior, I can firmly say that the ACT is near and dear to my heart. And, after countless study sessions and practice tests, I know the test pretty freaking well. Like most Kentucky schools, my school administered the ACT to juniors during the mid-spring. The test day was treated like a holiday by administrators, and it was announced months before and regarded as the most accessible way to gauge students' college readiness. On the other hand, many privileged students like myself treated the school-administered test as just another ACT we were required to take. A few of us had the privilege of knowing that we could easily gather $60 needed to take another test on another weekend. As the test day grew nearer, I noticed many of my peers jotting down strategies and asking teachers for test help. They were taking this test far more seriously than I had expected, and their stress was obvious. I remember a week or so before the test, a friend of mine approached me. She'd never taken the test before, and she knew I had some experience with it. And she asked me, on the ACT day, how much time do we get per section? This simple question threw me into the point of view of my friend and many others. To them, this was not just another ACT testing opportunity they could take again in May, but it was the ACT day, the one day it would be offered at school and the only time they would be able to give it a shot. This one day, the day, would be the deciding factor for possible acceptance to the dream school, being able to graduate, parental approval, or even the factor that decided whether or not they would be able to afford college at all. And most of these students were diving headfirst into a test without even knowing its structure, with zero experience in the usual testing conditions. And for a test notorious for only measuring how well you know its content, or for not measuring how well you know its content and instead measuring how well you know the test itself, this is a major issue. Not only does another testing opportunity mean a second chance for students who do not have the money to pay the $60 fee itself, in the fall, seniors like me will also have the chance to access school resources we would be without at a normal testing center. Not just calculators or pencils, but also the bus rides to and from school and the school-provided breakfast and lunch. Of course, for students and professionals, any form of standardized testing is never ideal. But as progress is slow towards new forms of assessment and accountability, the least Kentucky can do is offer students like me another chance at the day. By giving us another testing opportunity, Kentucky can both cut our stress in half and double our chances of success. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you to Ella. Very well said, and also got marching instructions for where we should be going in the future. So thank you to her. Very proud of this family and of Frankfort High School. We'll be sharing more information on the date for the ACT Retake Day in the months to come through our office and the Kentucky Department of Education. Let's quickly go over where we are in COVID. We should be watching it. We don't believe that currently what we're seeing is cause for concern, but we should certainly be paying attention. Let's show the map. Let's show the map first, the county map. So this was our county map this last week. Of course, we get another one tonight. Certainly our yellow was growing, and then we've had our first red county in a while. Remember, this map isn't just cases or positivity rate. It also includes hospital capacity in a region. So a red on this map, we should be a little bit concerned about. And in that area, the recommendations are that people consider wearing masks. At that point, it is a wise decision to make. Overall with the state, let's show our stair-stepper chart. Again, we continue to see an escalation of cases, though I will say nationwide, they see the escalation slowing, or at least appearing to slow. That would be really good news. Our positivity rate also continuing to rise, but again, we hope this is what we are seeing nationally. The rise week to week has been a little bit less in the last 2 weeks than the week before. And if that's concerning news, the next three charts are put it in context. First, hospitalization for COVID is going up a little, but it is nowhere near going up at the rate that cases or the positivity rate is. And we'll go over the other two charts. This continues to be good news. To have a less direct relationship between number of cases and hospitalization is a big deal. And remember, there are a lot of cases out there we don't know about that don't end up in the chart because of at-home tests, and that could also impact the positivity rate. So what we see is hospitalization ticking up a little, but nowhere near where cases and positivity rate have gone. Moreover, the ICU is generally flat. Now, there might be a small increase, and you the 1 day or 2 day, you got to ultimately look at the week that they are in, because there can be multiple reasons for that. And then, is COVID making people really, really sick? Look at the ventilator. Again, hadn't increased at all in this new escalation of cases. So there is more COVID going around right now. I think we all see that, and we all know people who are getting it. It is not making people as sick, and that is a function of a couple of things. Number one, it doesn't appear that this variant is as aggressive as Delta. And second, we have a whole lot of people that have gotten vaccinated. Many have gotten boosted. And we also have a bunch that have had COVID, and that boosts the immune response. I am proud that today, for the first time in a while, we have some increases. Our vaccinations are way down, but they have not hit zero. We always have at least 1,000, if not a couple thousand new vaccinations a week. So total Kentuckians has ticked up. This is the first day we can report to you that 2/3 of all Kentuckians have had at least one shot, and that even includes those that are not eligible. And again, I want to point the 18 years and older. Now, we talk a lot about division. Now, these are people who can make their own healthcare decisions. They're also, if you want to look at it the other way, eligible voters. 77% have now gotten at least one shot. I don't know of 77% of people that agree on anything anymore, but they have agreed that they need to protect themselves and protect people around them. We are grateful for that mark. We wish that this was higher, but this is still the most people vaccinated in a small period of time in human history. And it's why just 2+ years into the pandemic, we are at such a better place. Also, want to mention 75 years and up has ticked up 1%. That's really important. That protects those individuals, and they are the ones right now that should probably be concerned the most. Remember, if you're over 50, you're eligible for that second booster. Please go and get it. In battling another, in this instance, epidemic, today I'm pleased to announce our state opioid response program will receive $35.9 million in a federal grant to fight addiction and support recovery statewide. And the Commonwealth will receive an additional $3.4 million for behavioral health services for victims of last December's storms and tornadoes. So those are two different awards. I want to talk about each one for just a second. First, the State Opioid Response Grant from the Federal Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration is going to help address opioid addiction and the overdose epidemic. The program provides funding for increasing access to FDA-approved medication for treatment of addiction. This is medically assisted treatment, or MAT, as people call it, and for supporting prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery support services. The program also supports care for drug abuse and helps reduce overdose deaths, close the gap on treatment needed for folks out there. And obviously, we always need more funding when we talk about an addiction epidemic that is so large. Our job is to provide help, to provide hope, and to provide a helping hand to those struggling with something as difficult as addiction. We appreciate the federal government's help in this fight. It is absolutely critical. Every soul that we are able to save, every person that we're able to get out of the throes of addiction and get back with their family and back in the workforce is a very special thing. And it both lives out our faith and values. It's also really needed to fill great jobs that are out there. At every treatment center I get to go to, I get to say there are better second chance opportunities right now in employment than ever in the history of Kentucky or the United States of America. So this is the time to get better and repair your life. Second, the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Disaster Case Management Program has approved more than $3.4 million to boost existing disaster assistance in areas of the state impacted by last December storms and tornadoes. What this is it's going to provide money to do direct individual case management with individuals and families that were impacted by the tornadoes. We've been absorbing a whole lot of this on our own, but now assign people to each family. How is rebuilding going? What are your unmet needs? How can we help you to get to that next stage of getting on your feet? We've been waiting for this for a while. It is going to be a big step forward, and it's going to just create more structure in how we can be touching base every week with these families based on our commitment to rebuild every structure and every life. The 16 counties that are eligible are Barron, Caldwell, Christian, Fulton, Graves, Hart, Hickman, Hopkins, Logan, Lyon, Marion, Marshall, Muhlenberg, Ohio, Taylor, and Warren. Community Action of Kentucky is going to be used to help manage and coordinate the program in which community action agencies will help deliver services. Obviously, those are already in each of these communities helping people who need it. Now, we've been excited that we've been able to provide more than $19 million of safe funding over the past several weeks. That's the dollars put aside by the legislature to provide help, and now provided, I think a little over 25 or close to 25 million from the Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund, rebuild 300 houses, direct payments to families, as well as for funerals. And finally, this week's Team Kentucky All-Star, one outstanding Kentuckian who the whole world got to see how much talent he has. Noah Thompson, a 20-year-old construction worker from Louisa, Kentucky, recently became Kentucky's first American Idol winner. Thompson's friend Arthur actually convinced him to audition, and we are glad he did. Noah is truly remarkable, even with no prior professional music experience, which puts all the rest of us to shame. He continued to wow the judges and audience each and every week. During his time on American Idol, he actively wrote new music. Even before he won season 20, Noah's new single, One Day Tonight, climbed to the top of the country music charts. And just last week, his hometown was able to celebrate him with a parade. Rocky was there. He told me there were 3,000 to 5,000 people packed in Louisa to celebrate Noah and his talent. We are proud to call him a Team Kentucky All-Star. Congratulations to Noah. Okay, we will move to questions. Looks like we have plenty of time. We'll start with our in-person journalist and Mark Vanderhoff.
Governor, we had the announcement earlier this week of the DOJ investigation. Have you spoken, or anybody in your administration spoken with the DOJ to learn more about what this investigation is going to be looking at, as well as the impetus of it, why they're even looking at it?
Well, I believe that whether it is on the state level or the local community level, we are all perplexed by the announcement. First, we were given about an hour heads up that this announcement would come. We received a letter, and the letter basically talked about it as in it was an inquiry and there were no final decisions that had been made, and they wanted to get the facts and they'd be reaching out for information. That one specifically talked about institutionalization of individuals as opposed to them being in community settings. And then we saw a press release that sounded a lot different, seemingly pretty aggressive, acting like they already had a conclusion, and talking not just about institutionalization, but seemingly finding people proactively providing services so they didn't end up in difficult circumstances. Those are two very different things, and that I think they're both trying to apply the ADA to. After getting that information, we reached out to our cabinets and we reached out to locals. And to our knowledge, there hasn't been one request for data thus far, and not a single person interviewed, even on the structure of how we provide these services. Some of the community providers that I've talked to say they don't understand. And maybe the federal government doesn't understand. I certainly wish if they were going to claim they're announcing an investigation, they would have come to us and gotten facts to see whether putting out a release like that was appropriate or not. Now, with that said, we'll cooperate, but it's a heck of a way to ask for cooperation from the start. And I just want to add one other piece because of what that press release said. I wholeheartely disagree with anything that insinuates that our amazing community mental health professionals bear responsibility for bad situations that happen because we haven't found an individual. When an individual commits a violent act, they are responsible for it. And I want to make sure that we are not putting any type of implication amongst incredible folks that are out there doing their very best every day. I hope we'll learn more. And when we do, we'll be completely transparent about it. If this is something that helps us do better, we want to do better, but cooperation requires both sides to be communicating. We look forward to communicating with them. Tom Latek.
Well, thank you, Governor. I got a two-parter for you. I'm sure you're surprised to hear that. Have we had any signs, first of all, of a Derby-related COVID spike? And secondly, is the Department for Public Health involved in any kind of preparations for monkeypox now that we have our first case in the U.S.?
Let me start on the second piece. Dr. Stack briefed mayors and county judges on monkeypox the other day. We are prepared if it becomes necessary. To everybody out there, monkeypox does not spread like COVID. It requires intense, close contact. There are very few cases in the United States. This is don't compare it to COVID. It's like comparing apples and meat. They're just two totally different things. We already have treatments for monkeypox if it becomes necessary. The smallpox vaccine works very well on it. It's just we'd eradicated smallpox. So people under a certain age haven't had that. So we are watching it. There is no reason for alarm on monkeypox. Signs of a Derby spike, we were already in an escalation We think that escalation is slowing. It's going to be hard to say, did it occur at Derby, which is primarily outdoors, or so many indoor activities we're doing? Certainly, if we're seeing a spread, part of it can be a variant. Part of it is we're learning to live with this virus every day, which means we're around each other a lot more. Austin.
Thank you, Governor. Obviously, the country is still kind of reeling and
Yeah.
processing the Uvalde shooting this week. I'm curious if there's anything you or your administration can or plan to do to make any change on access to guns in Kentucky? And is there any specific legislation beyond school safety and SROs, which I believe you mentioned yesterday, that you could get passed in the Kentucky legislature?
Well, certainly this week's school shooting is hard for everybody. It's really hard for parents of school-aged children. I have 2 middle schoolers, and we've been through times when there were threats on their schools. Thank goodness they never came to fruition. I know individuals involved in that Paducah area shooting from so many years ago. And I was Attorney General during the Marshall County shooting. These are acts of evil. How someone slaughters a classroom of kids, none of us can understand. And I can't even remotely put myself in the place of those parents and that loss. And the courage I see those parents operating with today and how strong they are is astounding. Any changes in access to firearms would require a legislative act in Kentucky. That would have to be a conversation that legislative leadership would entertain, and in recent years they haven't entertained any of them. My job is to do what I can with executive authority, and a lot of that is working with our school systems to make sure we've implemented as many safeguards as possible. And we've done a number of those in the last couple years. The first thing that we have done is worked on limited entrance to our schools. That's when you see a lot of the 2 doors that people have to be buzzed through now, the requirement that they go through the principal's office, sometimes the scanning of people's driver's licenses. When you do things like that, you turn what might be viewed as a soft target, how you get entry and cause harm, into a hard target, with most of these individuals then looking elsewhere. We don't want them to do it at all. We certainly don't want them to be committing these acts at a school. The other piece is this is the reason that I supported legislation on SROs in all of our schools, even when there is a reasonable debate about how sometimes that makes certain students feel. I just want, in this situation, for there to be somebody trained to stop it, who's there every day. We're going to continue with those efforts, continue to provide best practices to our schools, and to all those parents. We're so sorry that this happened. I know we probably don't know you here in Kentucky, but that doesn't mean we don't love you and care about you. Carolina.
Following up on those questions,
Yeah.
Do you think Kentucky, with all of the things you looked at, do you think that's enough to keep our kids safe while they're in school? And what possible gun reform would you like to see? Well,
there's never enough to keep our kids safe in school when you've got kids in a school. But with the number of firearms that just exist in America and are already out there, it's hard to think. It would, as I look at different options that are out there, certainly the court system already has some ability to remove weapons from someone it deems dangerous. And that can be in the course of a couple different types of proceedings. That was pursued by Morgan McGarvey in last session, and it didn't even get a vote. Certainly, we ought to be able to trust our court system in a proceeding when everybody can be represented and you have a judge there for your rights. Certainly, that ought to be at least an option that we look at. Okay, virtually we have Chandler Wilcox from WYMT. Do we have Chandler? All right, as we try to get him, by the way, I think he just graduated and went to WYMT, so congratulations to him. Debbie Yetter.
Hello, Governor. I wondered if the feds or if the FDA does approve vaccine for the youngest kids 6 months to 5 years in June when it comes before them, what's Kentucky and the other partners in vaccination, what are you all going to do to try to promote this and get kids vaccinated before school and preschool starts?
So our plan is going to be to work with existing partners. Think about all the places that vaccines are now at. That's every Walgreens, Rite Aid, local pharmacy, community health center. You know, we have built out this provider network so large that now it's in virtually everybody's neighborhood, as well as working with pediatricians, whether or not they're going to give it or ensure that they have the information on whether or not to recommend it. And then it's the school systems themselves and our departments for public health. You know, we've got now the most robust infrastructure to do this regardless of who gets added at what time and what booster comes in. It's really going to be about how many people bring their children to get vaccinated. I believe we are ready based on the amounts of vaccines that we have on the shelves right now to handle any influx that comes. And we're all hoping for that day for those parents who have patiently waited. Melissa Patrick.
Hi, Governor. Debbie wrote, I believe it was yesterday, about, actually, it wasn't Debbie. It was a Courier Journal story about Kentucky on May 8th ranked 3rd for being out of stock for baby formula. And so that was May 8th. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm all over the place here, but I just need an update. What's going on with the baby formula in Kentucky?
Yeah, so we saw that story too. We're not sure how they're calculating those numbers, and we can't confirm that data. Certainly, there is a nationwide shortage, which is real concerning, and it's got to be real scary to a bunch of parents. Two things. Number one, we're coordinating through our WIC program. If you are in our WIC program, please contact your provider, which is normally your local health department. We are allocating what the state gets in for that program to make sure we can get it where it's needed and to people who need it. So again, if you're a parent that is getting services through WIC or you qualify for WIC, go sign up for it and we can help there. If you do not, call your pediatrician. They're working really hard on this, both from a networking standpoint about where you can get it, to whatever samples are left, to whatever substitutes there are. You know, we believe that we're going to see a significant boost in the coming weeks, but we've got to get to that point. And I certainly hope in the future that the FDA will be more surgical about the moves that it makes. This was foreseeable. If you shut down a facility that big almost entirely, I certainly hope that when they made that step that the data supported it. But this is a situation that should not be repeated. All right, did we get Chandler? All right, Chandler.
Can you hear me this time?
I can. Congratulations on graduation.
Yeah. Thank you, Governor. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. My question is, the UN recently reported that there were 25 tons of wheat in Ukraine waiting to be exported, but it's being blocked by Russian ships. And it made me wonder, because there was already a grain shortage fear because of the war, right? So do you think if, this blockade continues and there is a shortage, can we depend on local farmers to provide, whether it's wheat and grain and such things like that?
So I was just talking to Graves County farmers. They lost their granary, and we were talking about how we can help, since they're going to have additional costs to take it, about 2 hours further right now to sell their existing product, and which is mainly corn and beans. And I was asking them about wheat. And some had already switched, but this was before this happened, but the prices are already locked in for this season. I think you're going to see a lot of our Western Kentucky and other farmers switching to wheat. The price is still going to be really high. I think you're going to see how well United States can grow food for the entire world. So I think you're going to see a whole lot of Kentucky farmers not totally switch, because corn and beans is really important and we do it so well in Kentucky, but you're going to see a lot of additional wheat grown, especially in the next season. And for those that track the Russian invasion of Ukraine, this is just one economic impact that comes out of it. But this is how connected we are as a world. But it also means how we should be looking statewide and nationwide to ensure our national security interests are met. Ukraine produces so much wheat. That's what their flag is. The blue is the sky, and the yellow is the wheat. And it just shows how critical it is that this nation have an independent future. Incredible to watch the bravery of the soldiers there fighting for their country's independence. And I hope the United States continues to provide aid as it is and looks at any and all sanctions that would help. All right. Thank you all very much. Again, to Sheriff Corman's family, we so appreciate his service. To the families of all of the officers whose name went on that memorial today, we are so sorry. Thank you for serving alongside that peace officer.